So I believe that with all of that being out of the way, we can start it to hop on into the whole entire debacles that is MSL Thailand Season 1. First of all, what have I missed, right? I haven't been. I think the last time we do a live stream was on 15, which I think was some days along in the match week number 5. Very much a pivotal one. I'll give you that. But at the same time, if you look at my content from the match week number 3 and number 4 recap, you would realize that it's already kind of, I would say, it was a bit predictable already by that point. The performances of the teams who made it into the playoffs were already kind of indicative in the tables. So we're talking about the teams that are managed to guarantee it into match week, into playoffs beforehand, which is of course the undefeated King of Gamers. And then follow that up by Tenacities, who actually, yes, they were on a great form, but the same thing is that they actually completed their 9 matches run already. So there was, I don't even think there was any matches for Tenacity to play in match week number 5, and all was at the mercy of BaconTime, and then also Buriram, the rest who are trying to contest for that spot. So, eventually they lost the second places in the, before we heading into playoffs. So they're gonna have to play to start off in the play-in spots. So yeah, we're gonna try to find out and see that in the upcoming days. Let me brought out the screens. Whoop. I don't know how good the transition is, but yep, definitely. We are here. This is we're talking about the playoffs, right? Before the days that, look, this is very much a pivotal. If you look through the schedules already, it was run off by, I think we are talking. I need to check first if whether you guys heard it, because this is very, very loud, even for me. Oh no. Okay. How does the audio goes for it? But yeah, I'm gonna shut it down for now. Sorry guys. But yes, definitely. The playoffs for MSL Thailand Season 1 is gonna have, it's basically going to 3 stages, right? First and foremost, there's a play-in stage, which is basically a single eliminations. You lost and you got knocked out here. There's no second chance for you yet. It's not a double bracket yet. Meanwhile, when we talk about this spots here, is also very interesting, because the teams who were then affected to be in these positions were all the top contenders. The team that you expect them to, I mean, looking ahead before the seasons, maybe many of them were expected to be right from the start to be like a title contenders even. I give my power ranking before, right? And you'll be surprised at how much I got it wrong, or maybe at the very least how things unfolded in terms of the teams that managed to make it into the upper stages, right? So this is going to be the first playoff matches, and that is going to be ACT up against Buriram. There we go. Ooh. Enthusiasm. Hopefully, like, I expect it to be for us to heard, of course, like Mini Mint and also iBaby's voice, but yeah, hopefully it's not too loud. Ooh, iBaby with the Bahasa. It's very dope, and I think that it's gonna be very crucial, to the entire broadcast later on. We already know that the MCT, right, the tournaments right in between before M8. We already know that tournament is going to be held in Thailand as well, and then also for the wildcard stage of M8. So yeah, I think it's very good to have like this wide range of talents, with the different profiles when it comes to their linguistic abilities. Okay. We're gonna head into our first match here. Definitely, it's gonna be the match between, let's see. There's so many things going on at that playoffs event, man. Like, I'm talking for real. Let me try to control my volume a bit more, because look, I can hear you guys well, but like, I'm not so much for this one. It's getting a bit, it's a bit too loud for my likings here. Not gonna lie. And also, I'm not sure if this is considered a clean feed, if I can still hear the Thai casters. But yes, definitely, we're looking at the playoffs, which is already, this is still in the play-in stage, where it's a single eliminations, and who would have thought, right, that it's gonna be ACT against Buriram. ACT was, of course, I think that they hovers around. They managed to do well, especially only conceding a loss to KOG, obviously, and then BaconTime and Buriram's. All these are top contenders, and heading into the play-in stages, I don't think that they have nothing to be disappointed about. That was in hindsight. That was until you realize their potentials and how far they go, like all the ways, right? But of course, they're gonna have to face off against Buriram, whom, yeah, Buriram. This is quite a good case to talk about because there's been actually so many talk about Buriram's performances and about their expectations beforehand, right? I'm pretty sure this is not a clean feed, man. Yeah, there's a casting all over the places though. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. This voice got cut off right in the mid stage. Yeah. Back to my point. Buriram is a team that, heading into season one, many people expect them to be this sort of, I guess, juggernauts. They are the old guys. We have MZ and IZ, and then also Lois, who are like the Star Wars name in MLBB Thailand, right? Especially way before the entire prospect about having a league, about for it to be going pros. These are like the pioneers and also like those who run the communities, the MLBB Thailand communities way before everyone else. I give them as much credits as I would say. Of course, we're talking about our creators, right? Dr. Marks, Wawa Gamer, Bird 5 Stars, all these people who doing it as a casters. We also, of course, how can we disregard those who are the main players, right? Who dedicated their opportunities, their skills, to the craft of this game. You have to understand that MLBB is not a dominant mobile title here in Thailand, and the fact that for people to actually like trying to commit it to a different mobile titles that is gonna have a much smaller player base, and also for them to be this sort of for them to be, I don't know, for them to make sure that, I think that this requires quite a lot of dedication, and I also believe passion from both sides in order for you to make sure that you can actually do it, that you can actually pull it off, like playing this game for a living. That's almost unheard of. And I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but seriously, I'm gonna keep it at 480. Hopefully it's not thing too horrible. Oh man, I'm gonna keep it at 180. Okay. I'm not sure why they keep the audios first, the so-called clean feeds, but yeah, this is definitely gonna be a map to look out for because this is a play-in between Buriram and ACT. I already talked about Buriram. I think a fair share of people kind of hype them up. Of course, as I mentioned, they're one of the top names here in the Thai communities beforehand, and then you're also gonna have those who, I don't know, just against anything hype, any hype train, they're gonna go up against it, which is of course fair, and you're allowed to do that. And then, yeah, when we look at these games in particular, you see sort of like a present against the future, right? ACT is, of course, these are all young rosters. Many of them have only picked MLBB like not even one full whole year that they picked up the game. So you have to understand just how big of a difference is when it's come to the experience gap in this game. But as we all gonna see soon, it really didn't play out well, and the result would be quite shocking here. So already we seeing. Let me rewind a bit because it's kind of important. We see how aggressive Suros go. Of course, like they're trying to divert attention with Gan NC and Zilvi at the mid lanes, but then Suros trying to flanking in onto, but he's got stuck within the wall, right? And then yeah, one gonna get give out here. I think they're trying to focus onto Zilvi, who of course with the Kalia can kind of avoid it out, but then of course, Buriram's not gonna allow this sort of transgressions to go by, right? So they claim the first but rather quickly. It's kind of inconsequential, but at the same time, like I think Sir Ross did his part already by stealing objectives early on. If there's one thing that I think is the main difference between the players who have between the players who have already like claimed the first. If there's going to be any difference between the players who has played this game for years, but up until this point, compared it to the new quote unquote new players, who only picked up the games for a couple of months. I think that one of the main differences is going to be, of course, I think the meta game, macro games understandings. I think that a lot of ACT players here, they're very much meta centric. Not only because of Coach Shadows, who also make a transition from other mobile title, but I also think that because they're not as experienced, they stick to the fundamentals, which sometimes just sort of give this sort of like a solid foundations in that game plan. When they messed up, they don't mess up that much in the grand scale, and also they're less likely to do so because they stick to the fundamentals. There's not as much of a complacencies, and I think like the way that they recognize the game patterns are going to be different. Pure Phoenix already being online, but of course Law is there first. Kairo's trying to flanking in, picking off IZ as a collateral. Yeah, it's when you look at the entire. I understand it's very much like an antithesis of MLB if you're trying to boil it down to the macro games, but at the very same time, it's kind of makes sense. It's making sense that the entire games, at least for MSL Thailand Season 1, not only in this play-in matches, but then also for the rest of the games here, we're a part of a macro game centric. Ooh. What was Silvi trying to do? Opening up his position, checking into the ambush, but Aki, oh, I see what he's doing now. So Aki, oh man, that's gonna be some sort of setup. Like Aki knew that if Silvi were to check the ambush in the mid lanes here, he would go with this angle. Maybe it's a gamble, it's a 50-50, but yeah, at his level, Aki, I'm pretty sure that he got it figured out. Yeah, checking that ambushes. Aki is already moving over to another part. MC can punish him straight away. The Silvi did not see MC. That's gotta be what it is, but yeah. The Law is flanking into finishing off. Garnency, of course, like being a Valentina, like cannot really providing damage support in this sort of manners. I mean, we talk about the early game is just very much so quite pick up, but yeah, at the same time, I wouldn't say that it was that case. They're still on the positive side. They're still the one who gain the upper hands, but I would not say the word control. And with this being said, I'm starting to see a bit more of what Buriram is doing. I don't know why. Like when you see the outlook of the game is not. I don't think the controlling is the right term for them. We see ACT still having positionings where they can still contest the objective, maybe. So they commit to initiations, but yeah, and then MC is already finishing it off with Marcel. His skill will be on cooldown instead. So we're trying to roam the space within the turtle wall. Yeah, I want to see that where things go wrong for Buriram. But as we speak, like turtle spawns already. I think that at this point, right? Because if I remember correctly, I mean, I actually did tune into the match, but it was all about a grand team fight. Like the turtles always goes to Buriram, but that's all depends on this one. So trying to shift down Silvi's HP to force him out of the fight, but then yeah, the timing here. All of ACT is still ready to join in the fight. We have a lot of players with mobilities. Of course, the flanking off. Cairo go for 2. Fight MC first. Got caught in Golden Owl already. View of Phoenix not breaking onto Naragon whatsoever. He's zoning down Kairos. Already got MC from behind. That's not going to be enough. And now it's 3 against 3. Flukio up against all of BRU. Ooh, what? I was distracted with the dragon with the turtle siege. Nah. Wait, what? I need to see what happened at that turtle. I'm not sure if this is what we're going to be doing the entire things. This is not a watch along and cast anymore, guys. I need to see like exactly how does so yeah, 2 turtle go to, oh man, this is way after that. So you're telling me that this is already where things start to go wrong. Okay, Cairo trying to find MCs already. Ooh, but then got caught with the golden hour, but he's already out of the fight as well. And then Fury of Phoenix damage also done onto Cairo once more. He's run right into Naragon, but he got chased down by Sir Ross still. And I think at this point, yeah. So trying to give out Cairo already. Yep. So Naragon diving into it, to the turrets, got hit once. His HP was behind Guard NC. That makes sense. But then, okay, yeah, it all makes sense now. And wow, how did they coordinate this? So yeah, Naragon. So Sylvie and Sir Ross just flanking right in, knowing that Naragon's already low. So that's gonna be Guard NC's call, right? That's dope. Ooh. And yeah, Kalia with the setups. I see what is going on right now. And then there's U-turn back right in. I think it was Sui or Flukyo. Flukyo can still like, oh, Flukyo trying to go for Lloyd. Salmon Force finishing him off. That's dope. That's dope. And then Sir Ross finishing off the turtle. That's crazy. Oh. Yeah, definitely. That's some calls to look out for. Buriram's open up on the Lord first. ACT's trying to sow one else, try to bait like Naragon out, which works. And then Sir Ross still being free, and he was out of the fights until he coming in for the turtle siege already. And Flukyo can hold himself off with a pick like Harith. Oh man, that is something for sure. Let me check the audio quality of my streams real quick, guys. I think I can going up against a bit for my turtle, hopefully. Whoop. Sorry, guys. Something is with my earphone, I think. Hopefully it's nothing too big. More so, I still hope that oh, okay, I see what's going on now. That's them cutting off the audio for the clean feeds. Damn. And why did they do that now of all time? Okay, so right now it's all. Guys, please. Yep. So I think that this is a turning point, because once they got the second turtles, they were up in terms of goals by 2k, and still like their positionings. That's what I mean when I say that I don't see Buriram actually controlling the games, even though they gain the upper hands on the kills. And that is because I don't think that ACT like were interrupted by whatever they're trying to do. I think they already know that Buriram is going to be very aggressive heading into the game. And then they just sort of like play to their strength, you know, trying to bait out any sort of engagement away, leave the opening up positions, and then capitalize on Buriram's like being slower on the calls to zone out on Sir Ross. So that's why. And then of course the rest is about scaling by that time. Interestingly. It's so interesting. Man, at this point, at this time, I think we all see why ACT actually managed to go into it. There's another thing that I like to go through first before we head into the second match, but I want to look at the draft phase. Interesting. So, is it Buriram who banned Jusin then? One of the main talking points from the other game's title is actually especially in the grand finals between ACT and King of Gamers. Okay, in hindsight, we all know KOG do a clean sweep for all of them, right? But okay, we're seeing right now is that Juicin was actually the one who were banned by Buriram. Interesting. Well, that's one thing. If we were to say that Buriram's also banned Juicins, right? Because okay, that's 50%. That can be what happens. But if you look into the grand finals, we see that then it kind of makes sense, right? That Coach Shadow gave an interview post matches already that, okay, yes, Juicins, we didn't ban Juicins for the entire 4 matches because there's a bigger fish to fry. There's a bigger threat that they think needs to be neutralized. So they just open up Juicins for Z to pick up for the entire 4 games. Now it kind of makes sense if that's going to be the team focus, because you realize that half of the time, their opponents would be the one who ban out Juicin. But that is given that they are the first pick. I'm not sure about the other if who's the first pick or who's the counter pick in the grand finals. We'll get there soon enough. But yeah, basically, we're talking about the reason why Juicin was picked in that 4 matches. I see so many people kind of blown it out of proportions, talking about, oh, maybe is Coach Shadow's ego getting ahead of him, opening up Juicins because they know that they have what it takes to counter her. But at the same time, you have to understand that maybe it's actually true when it's come to the priorities in the ban picks. Maybe with the way that ACT setups, they know for a fact that they cannot let a specific pools, which probably making sense that they got Kaysen and Payen. We already see in the match against BaconTime how big of a difference is having any sort of players within the. Is that my TikTok? It kind of makes sense already that there's a lot of players here in the players here. But yeah, definitely here is going to be so much differences when we talk about the major part that disrupt the team fights for ACT, and then also compare that to Juicin. I don't think Juicin was the entire sole reason that they're lost. Does that put them as a disadvantage? Well, you never know, because we never got that paired up with other picks here. There's never was a realm where they were faced with Juicins in another matches. Maybe we can kind of draw comparisons later on. But yeah, for now, in this match against Buriram, we just have to give credit to ACT that they actually very much, I would say, a competitive side, and then they also they were a better team. They were stronger. They were more confident, especially when the game plans go according to them. If there's anything else, I think that it's the fact that we see all sort of adjustment, because if I remember correctly, they won against KOG 3-1 and then 3-1 against BaconTime as well, which means that they've conceded a game before. In this case, I'm pretty sure that it's a 2-1 as well. Yeah, the 2-0 Buriram. So I try to look through what exactly could be ACT's ways of like dealing with shortcomings. What happens when you concede a game, right? That's gonna be, of course, a major part that you're gonna take into trying to make a comparison with the grand finals performances. Yeah. And then in game number 2, okay, so it's entirely the same. Yeah, I mean, this is a point that a lot of Thai fans and Thai players first, I would give it to them. There were coaches who transitioned from other MOBA titles, right? And then of course going to be Thai MOBA fans who have, I guess they've formerly watched another MOBA title here. And let me give you context. In other MOBA titles, in another MOBA titles, the ban system was actually the global ban pick system, which means that, okay, each heroes can only be picked by your team only once in the entire series, whether it's best of 3 or best of 5 or best of 7. You only get to play each hero once. So we talk about how there was a discussion about how much that's opened up like the entire hero pools of the players, how much it allows them to be creative and also to be very adaptive to the situations. A lot of focus bans can be quite a huge problems here, and we're gonna see a much more quote unquote complex banning systems in the scenes, right? But at the same time here, you have to understand that the way that Mobile Legends was designed, I'm not gonna even talking about how, okay, yeah, well, because the top leagues, MPL PH, MPL ID, MPL MY, these leagues just use normal ban pick system. There were I think the experimental case being done in a sort of a Russian competitions in Russia, and it didn't go well. They were forced to turn back to normal ban pick once more. But where I'm trying to get to is with the ban picks. The normal ban picks may cause the draft phase to be very repetitive and also very similar because people gonna ban the same heroes. They're gonna pick the same heroes as well. Maybe there's differences in terms of priorities. Who is being the first pick? Who's being the counter picks? What would the first picks choices be? Which lanes would they prioritize first? That makes complete sense. But at the same time, you have to understand that each hero in MLBB can be played in a different manners because there's emblem systems. The emblem system is going to allow each heroes that were picked to be play in a different manners and also perform in a different functions. So, and that is a layers that I don't think MLBB players, especially those who were transitioning players from another mobile title, this is something that I don't think they get down that well. For us, for the audience, even for the casters, I mean, of course, it's a valid argument, right? That, oh yeah, the drafting phase are the same, it's repetitive, it's all entirely the same. But the same can be said for global ban picks, right? Of course, we're gonna see different heroes in each games, but at the same time, I think the layers and also what is actually crucial for MLBB is how each hero can be played differently by two different players. And of course, that's the layer that I think the majority of Thai players still have to get by. Of course, all the deep pool, all this specific picks would probably come along the line, especially with how the meta is trying to shift away as well. Another point that is probably going to be the tank jungler. It's a concept that, I mean, it exists in another mobile title as well. But when it's MLBB, the tank jungler is the main point about tank junglers. We're not talking about mobilities yet with pick like Bashir, right? But the point about tank jungler is how they can sustain themselves and they're not going to get picked off that easily. In the major scenes, we see tank jungler being utilized as, I would say, I think almost like a key, like an anchor in a team fight, right? This a tank jungler can do so much, can contribute to the team fights, can of course trying to even be like a second follow-up damage dealer to finishing off the kill as well. But I think that a main reason why it's a meta, especially the meta that MLBB, that MSL Thailand choose to go by several coaches, is because it gives a room of errors for players. So let's say that, hey, maybe Basia can still, like a pick like Basia, maybe you got cut off positions, maybe you didn't check the bushes, or you weren't really up on par with your opponents. Let's say you're not up on par with your opponent's timing in rotations. That makes entire sense for you to go with a pick that at least give you a bit more of a leeways, that maybe you can kind of disengage first with the sheer unities like Bashir, and then also for you to be able to sustain a bit more damage to buy time for your friends, especially when you can draw them into a tight team fights like the one in this matches with ACT against Buriram, right? But yeah, we're seeing a very similar picks. If anything, yeah, Buriram's also let Harith being the first pick by ACT once more, and it trying to run the exact same comp almost. So the adjustment that I see straight up from Buriram is, here's the thing: it's not so much the draft phase, right? But it's of course the way that the teams can dictate the plays, and I think that breakdown with the second turtle siege by ACT that we have just witnessed, that was the exact main reason why. And man, would it be cool, right? If it's actually works out for the entire way. Basically, I think ACT just play to their strength. They know their shortcomings going up against like a higher experienced team, and they just capitalize on any sort of like I wouldn't even say miscommunication, but I just think it's about how round up their communications were. And yeah, I mean, look, that's going to be very much an important part when you're trying to look at the different draft phases, because this is almost like an entire run back from game number one, but at the same time, for how long, right? Buriram, of course, this one they no longer have another. They have no other chances because this is actually where they falls, right? If this is a play-in, there's no double eliminations yet, and I see that there's an adjustment being made. Basically, first we're gonna see God coming out quite a lot in order to buy into that distance. I mean, that may be even the main key points for a main Sertian picked in MSL Thailand already, because of the range, right? Because of the distances. So when you're trying to cover that with God already, yeah, it kind of makes sense, right? So what I think what Aki is trying to go with the God pick right now is, of course, trying to buy as much as distance in the same way as Sertian, but then also trying to improve his mobilities, because right now he can rotate it alongside with MCs as well, who trying to, I think, yeah, they're trying to ramp up their rotations timing definitely with the sandwalk by Khalid. And then for ACT, I think that they're just going to go with the same entire pool, same entire way, draw out engagements, trying to make sure that the positioning in the turtle siege is fine. But then what's the plan B? What's the plan B in the game for ACT? That's what I kind of really wonder, and maybe that's the exact part where they got exposed in the grand finals. But like, I really wonder, what if it doesn't go according to plan? What if there's a team that actually can crack their baits and crack their luring to engagements? Right now, it's really not that big of a streams here, but yeah, definitely, we're looking at a very much so, I think, a very much engaging parts of competitions. We also gonna have let's see. So I'm trying to gank the top lane, yeah, because in game number one, it's like they're trying to go for the bottom one instead. So maybe switching ups, but then they're gonna realize that, okay, it's not really going well. Sui cutting him into the ambush this time around. And then for the turtle siege here is 2 against 2. Buriram have yet to commit fully into it, I guess. And then there's also, I guess, Sui is by himself. So is it a pattern for ACT? Did they just let the... Yep. Okay, and then Kairos opening up his position. Buriram's also chose not to... Why exactly is that? I'm not entirely certain what Buriram's actually gained by disengaging from that turtle. So right now, the turtle got a reset. ACT is actually the one onto the scene instead. And then... yeah, they just give out the first turtle to ACT. Interesting. Because right now, if you look at the way that the Buriram just going back into default, and then they got picked by ACT, Tsunami Slams coming in as well, drawing out for God and finishing off Agi. Oh, and it is dropping right back in. Yeah, this... okay, I see now. I see what kind of blunders this is. I really don't know why they're disengaged from the first turtle. Usually the logic when you disengage a turtle or even giving out the objectives to your opponents is, of course, trying to gain another aspect of advantages. Let's say we're talking about maybe trying to draw the gift. Good job, facepalm. Oh, thank you so much, ครับ พัชระ Thank you ครับ ขอบคุณนะครับ Yeah, but back to my point. Buriram is actually we're talking here as one of the most aggressive teams here, right, with ACT. And then the logic when you try to disengage from the turtles, giving it up to your opponents is, of course, trying to gain advantages in, I would say, in either the minions pushing up into the mid lanes and then also to the top lanes here, which is partly the reason why they're trying to put pressure on Cairo early on. But yeah, losing that 2 against 1 fights, they have to set zeros, and I think that up until that time, now this one I think this is going to be where it takes place. But Cairo, let's see. So they still couldn't take Cairo. He's just sticking to the turrets, not gonna lose any sort of engagements anytime soon. And then he's pushing on towards Agi as well by himself. What? Let me rewind that real quick. Sorry guys, but what? Yeah, so Buriram just got picked off left and right. Whoop. So yeah, Aki got cut off on his way back. He's chose not to go by the river, but yeah, Sir Ross found him and just soloing him off. And then God and C just can flank in to provide support as well. Yeah, I see it now. It's also the fact that ACT, okay, we're talking about these ambushes. Look, everyone can get caught off. Not everyone, sorry. Yeah, maybe top players, real top players, world-class players can be aware of this sort of rotations. But what we're seeing right now is just ACT managed to find the right targets time after time. The turtles, and then of course, Agi. He's already down 2 kills, 2 deaths already. If we look at that, they're trying to ganking on Cairo, which they couldn't capitalize on. And then, yeah, he got picked up straight away. Sylvie. I thought it's only Sir Ross over there. Where was Sylvie? Bro is gonna go full Kuroko on me right now. Okay, so Sylvie is already here. This is when Sir Ross already engaged onto Agi. So of course a lot of damage already being dished onto him, but of course Agi can still run off. Let's say if all Sir Ross has to offer is the damage, right? So Agi, I think trying to help set up first, that actually didn't land on Agi. So Sir Ross can just solo out Agi. But what Sylvie does here actually is trying to keep Lois away from it. So I think that was also a nice time play by Sylvie here. So he covered Lois right before he can save Agi, and then Garnet was right behind them. MZ, of course, cannot really break them anymore. I thought MZ was... Oh, right. MZ was not on Marcel anymore. He's on Khalid. What? Man, this is messy. And then, yeah, definitely not really going into that favor. MC is trying to flank in, cover for one. Not going to work. Yeah, it's 2 blunders in a row for Buriram. Yeah. I mean... I'm not expected to be made it as a VOD reviews, but I think what it can be boils down to, at least for why Buriram's fall out there, is of course, I think that yeah, they forced a very crucial blunders against them. Let's see the translation. So yeah, I mean it's a bit, I don't know about this, but basically after each team lost, they're gonna have to like do like a bow down for the thank yous here for them, right? Ooh. So thank you for Buriram Esports for giving us the entertaining matches, of course, participating in MSL Thailand Season 1. And then a interview for Minimint, for Flugyo, and I think God and Z, right? I'm very excited for ACT, and I think a lot of people rooted them. I mean, unless you're KOG fans. But look, these guys are world beater right now. Flugyo, ACT is locked in right now. After losing to them earlier in the regular season, Jukai beat them 2-0 and make it into... You finally make it into the playoffs. Oh yeah, last time we missed. Last time we messed up, but we've heard up. Can't see. We have awakened. Arise. Awaken. Yeah, that is can't see. You managed to beat Buriram today. Did they stick to the same plans? Is that why you guys know exactly what to counter or what to do? That's entirely irrelevant. We've been practicing, we've been preparing, we're just doing better than them, performing better than them in this game. We trust each other, because if we're gonna go anywhere else, whatever happens next, we're gonna go together. Can't see. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. Oh, it was Cairo's birthday before and then got in Z's, right? How much have you prepared for these matches? Oh, when the mature answers by Garden C, he said that the players really didn't have it as hard as, of course, Coach Shadow by himself, who's still preparing and also contributing to the success. Man, that's a very mature answers. I did not expect that from a young player like Garden C at all. Dang. Yeah, so yeah, he stay up late all the times. For us, we just fall asleep already. We trust each other. We trust in teams. We wanted to make it into the next round, make it into the championships.
เราคอเกมกันผมว่าเราคอเกมกันดีอยู่แล้วครับแค่แบบมีแค่เรื่องรายละเอียดกับความใจเย็นครับ
So they already like I think they already
เกี่ยวกับเรื่องเชื่อใจทีมนะครับแล้วก็พวกเราก็ทำกันได้ดีด้วย
ก็คือวันนี้เนี่ยมันมีความเชื่อใจมากขึ้นแล้วก็
So there's a bit more trust in the team and also all these urges that they really wanted to make it into MSL, right?
รอเจอกับ KOG ในรอบโบ5ในเย็นวันนี้เนาะก็ขอบคุณน้องๆทั้งสองคนมากเลยนะคะขอเสียงแฟนคลับ ACT Esports
So ACT make it into the next round and that's the first play-ins. Then the next one is gonna be Tenacity against Solix. You guys like me to do that? But yeah, basically, I'm not sure if whether we can go for as much in this one, but rookie versus veteran. Look, we could go by that statement, but you have to realize that no, man, it's really not what it is. Look, so Leaks is a veteran in esports. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, they're actually, when it comes to MLBB, like I would say, it's very fresh. They're very fresh. They picked up the games. Like I give it, they're probably picking up the games like up until this time around. Not even from a whole year that they picked up MLBB. I'm rather confident in it, but definitely we're gonna see a lot of strong performances. I think that their maturities and then also that game sense can also be carried along as well. I think their position as a pro players, the way they can handle pressure and also, I mean, to a certain degree, a scrutiny, especially in the early weeks, is where the performances were quite subpar, poor, honestly. But then, yeah, they managed to do this turnaround when they have the right factors, right? Danny Carter's being signed in mid-seasons, of course, helped them a lot. The Burmese jungler who have experiences in MSL Myanmar qualifiers already. Basically, this is from the entire, in my own terms, they are MLBB native countries. They mainly play MLBB as their first MOBA, or maybe as their first mobile MOBA at the very least. So they're always going to have this sort of advantages when it's come to the way that they understand the game, the way they understand the objectives, and also the way that they can factor in the capabilities of what each hero can do. And that's gonna go a long way into their draft phase, as well as the way that they know how to handle the opponents. Tenacity. The addition of BS and also Lord Guys is, I think, a crucial one. I mean, I understand that Tenacity is trying to find, because up until that point, they start off a bit rocky, right? A loss and a win and a loss and a win. So their positioning in the playoff is still quite iffy. But then what you have to realize straight up is how they manage to find the stability. Everyone's going to talk about water, right? I think the top junglers in MSL Thailand, in Mekong region by far. But at the same time, when we talk about how long that it can take for them to go by in each sort of regions, you have to realize that beforehand, back when Water was not at his full strength yet, I would say where he's not in the top form yet, where he was still gradually improving and getting more comfortable into the Thailand league, I give a lot of credit to Griffith. And then, of course, Coach Disdai and Coach Kazin. Right now it's only Zin Not sure if he's dropped there. Not sure if it's a typo. I don't want to give. I don't want to give shades to the production teams as well. Oh, Xiao Xiao. Yep. Of course, the fist bumps here. It's a great way here, and I think for Soul Leagues, hopefully, because honestly, I thought that if Soul Leagues were to fall short out of the playoffs, if they were like Lord forbids, if they were actually going poor in this season, I think that many of these veterans, many of these OG IT City Bacons might have stepped away. And yeah, man, I don't want that at all. I think what we need is a very much a various. These are all the top players, and also I think top personalities in MLBB, in Thai esports contents as well. So really, we cannot miss out on them. I'm glad to know that I think that the success for Soul Leagues, especially the ups and the downs in the seasons, can sort of like fuel them to go the long way, right? Sherry, me, Mark, Xiao Xiao, Moss, and then Danny Carter. But right now, they're probably going to have Remix as their only substitute because Spectres and also 007X already left. Tenacity. What a upturn in performances. Seriously. Yeah. So Water is very much confident individuals. I think that his performances and his experiences beforehand, like he have what it takes. And then for Soul Leagues, yeah, I think that they want to go a long way. Danny Carter. This guy is quite a revelation. I love to see more Myanmar players, more Burmese players in MSL Thailand Season 2. I really do. I think that it's already the case with a lot of the semi-pro teams. We're seeing, I think even beforehand in MSL Thailand Open qualifiers, we're seeing a lot of semi-pro teams here in Thailand have a Myanmar members, and I think that's lovely, right? I mean, if we're talking about representations and also the way that each players can also have, look, when Danny Carter's signed for Soul Leagues, and then for them to be a link up between him and also Coach Zin beforehand, you have to understand that like how much it can kind of like gather a fan base, right, a player base, in order to watch them, maybe to root them from Myanmar. Yeah, so right now, if you're from Myanmar, if you're from Myanmar, you already have a team to root out for, right? It's your fellow countrymen, Sin and also Danny Carter. The same can be said for the Loud fans, right? You guys got Agi, you have Water, you have so many other players here as well. So yeah, definitely it's gonna be great. So I'm really looking forward to see what the international rosters would look like for MSL Thailand Season 2. We already see that, hey, the team who made it to the exact top here were the teams that were also comprised of Filipino talents. So that means that there's also a part about language barriers which has to be overcome. But we all know that if you manage to do that, you're at the top. You can make it to the top of the pinnacles, right? And at the same time, the fact that Thais and Laos languages are very similar, right now we're going to have a bit more of a, I would say, more common grounds where we can set up a communications and also bring out the great performances, especially in the Thai and Laos rosters. So yeah, definitely. And then yeah, I'm not sure whether we can look out for it this much. I rather look at straight up for. Okay, yeah, let me check out what Danny Carter's go for first. But as we speak, yeah, I mean, look, I can see the vision. Danny Carter's choose to go for Leomord, but I believe I see him play Joyce before in a regular seasons. I mean, look, one thing that we have to give Solis credit for is the fact that they can actually pull off a result when it matters. We're talking about, hey, Buriram lost to Fusen, right? Or were there another upsets that I should be talking about? Yeah, maybe Tenacity's win against Buriram, right? There's upsets every now and then. There would, I think, result that you probably heading into the match should not think that you actually get it, But with that being said, you have to realize how much like this sort of differences it takes in terms of how performances can make you. So yeah, definitely it really is crucial for the team. Let me recheck my audio real quick. I can see the vision. Okay. I mean, yeah. We're good to go. Okay, and then you head up straight with Kalea. So Harith Kalea, the junk, interesting. Because when you look at Water, I think Water used to go by Leomord a lot, but then Joy was picked in. Let me see which phase Joy was picked in. The Joy was picked as the last phase. Interesting. I think by that point, Tenacity just sort of, I think, trusted on Water's expertise to actually pull off a Joy game plan. So Kaizen banned out Fanny straight away as a respect, and then also Suyo try to keep him away from the options as well. So with Joy, yeah, it's gonna be a bit tougher for Tenacity to construct a team fight. The fact that Lord Guy should go by Valentina as well is also, I mean, of course, in hindsight, it's nice. I mean, you have, of course, Phantom Steed to go by, Salmon Force even. You can copy from Xiao Xiao. But then you have to go up against the team that is going to be more for foot. But yeah, I think the glue pick that the Soul League picked, I think this is the one where the questions might begin to rise. Because we're seeing already that Tenacity set up for the counter plays. They set up for a way to do sort of like a follow-up attack, maybe trying to draw out as much as engagements as possible, and then trying to find someone who can do a reliable damage dish onto them. So Khalid, and then also, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna respect the Joy pick for Water, and then Khalid beforehand. So a lot of the timing has to be on their side, and I think that Khalid gives him a leeway for that in terms of rotation. Lord Guys can also be a backbone that kind of give Soul League's time to second guessing, and I think the draft is already done. Right? It's not on the screen yet, but yeah, we're gonna see real soon. So for Xiao Xiao, last picks by them. So Kalia, of course. Arith. And then the way I see it is it's going to be the matchup of how much Shuri can do with glue. Because we're not talking about the main damage dealer anymore. The matchup between him and Song Jin Woo's Phobius is going to be, I think, minimum. And I think that Soul League sort of like already constructed their team comp in order for them to be, I would say, leading more on an engagement as well. But having, why should it go for glue though? So who would initiate the fights? Let's say it's glue. Who can deal a follow-up damages? What sort of positioning that that's have to set up them? Which lane would they have to give up? I think that the winning conditions for them were a bit more complicated when you compare that to Tenacity, whom I think up until this point probably going to play by their strength as well, and then rely on the deep hero pools of Water and then BS. Heading in, BS already opening up his positioning. We see an invasion of the purple buff straight away. I mean, even in the first game against ACT, but that one, Sir Ross got punished straight up. And then Moss. Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, and then a matchup against Phobius and Glue. Not really is going to go into Sherry's favor by any means, but what happened is he really needs to be very diligent with how he can keep the lane phase going before coming into the scrimmages with the big fight, with the big team fights. And then they're trying to rotate it back into another team fight here. Punishing Lord Guys, but yeah, couldn't shut down on the damages. Yeah, because Kalias go with the concussive blast, so it really makes it. It really kind of ties your hand around and say, hey, you gotta be engaging. You gotta make sure that you're very proactive in the team fights. But what if you're not in a right position? What if you're not in the right places to jump into it? I mean, BS is being listed as a Thai nationals, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's the same case with him and also Griffith, because Griffith, from my understanding, and this is entirely unconfirmed, I believe that, I mean, he have Thai nationalities. I'm not saying that he doesn't, but I'm seeing him like speaking mainly in English. So I was like, ooh, maybe it's a bit of a, I'm not sure yet what was the case, but then also the fact that he can be that talented, and I believe that he also made it to the championships in ASC series as well. So that was like a main tournaments done for Myanmar players who were located in Thailand. And I think that was such a great place, you know, for players to look out for all this talented. Danny Carter got the turtle. Did they steal it? Because I see that actually Tenacity was the first one to open it up. Did they initiate the fights on the Lord? And then they're trying to, the fight breaks out into the mid lanes. So they commit to the team fights right within the turtle area here. Ooh, yep, definitely Moss. This is a good play by him. But then, of course, got electrifying beats as a counter from water as well. And I think, did he pick out water? Yeah, he picked out water. Was it him? Was it actually Moss or Sherry? That was Sherry. I thought it was Moss. What was Moss doing? Okay, so Moss got shipped and then has to disengage. First, this is where he put his flickers out. So he actually leave Sherry to pick onto water in time. And of course, like, Glue can only do so much with his split splat. Like, he can mount onto one, but then afterwards, like, water can just dragging him into the deep water. No pun intended. Man, what? Yeah. So he dragged Shuri into the point here. He's by himself. BS and Lord guys already zoning out like the rest of Solix. Yes, they got the turtle, but the follow-up fight's not gonna be in their favors. And then basing duets supply the damage for Lost Guy to finishing off me marks. Jerry could be the next one, but yeah, Glue not that easy to finishing him off. Salmon Force trading in from Xiao Xiao, but that was already like in hindsight. Yep, I mean, I can see the entire game plan here. I mean, at the very least, the way that the game plan was set up. Yeah, maybe it's not really going into Tenacity's favors at the very least in the early game. But then, yep, it's gonna be them who managed to beat off Solix and progress into the playoffs. Yep, definitely. Let me see Water's stat real quick because I need to see about how much he actually progressed on with the itemization. Let's see. So Water deal the most amount of damage, found the most amount of gold. Yeah, definitely the MVP, but Song Jin-woo's also step up. Right now, I think that it's kind of give it interesting because I'm thinking about creating like a video soon, but then for the Esport Nation Cups, but that was such a long time coming, and I think that by that time we still have an opening for season 2, you know, in order for us to actually gauging and then looking into like the team performances, especially for the entire rosters. So yeah, as a roundup, Tenacities win 2-0. They progress on into the playoffs, and I'm not sure if we're actually into it straight up. Okay, yeah, we do. Let me check out the playoff brackets, so at least we can see what we're dealing with. Yeah, I mean, as you guys can see here, ACT made it from the play-ins, going into face up against King of Gamers, and this is where possibly the biggest upset of this other seasons goes. And also the timing for me to say that, hey, I've made a correct predictions. I don't think any single teams in MSL Thailand is going to go undefeated, no matter how good they are, right? So already BaconTime lost very early on, re-round as well. King of Gamers was the one who actually go defeated in the regular seasons. And it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, yo, maybe King of Gamers can actually beat the rest and also going undefeated up until the grand finals. But yeah, ACT saved me in this regard and also knocked King of Gamers down to lose to the lower brackets. The same can be said for Tenacities, right? Going up against BaconTime. This is also a tough matchup for them as well. It's a B-Boss against Water. Man, this will be a bloodbath. And then we're going to go into the next match. I guess, yeah, I really want to see the first match here in upper bracket straight up back when ACT actually managed to beat King of Gamers. That's where I wanted to look at that. I see. So Jusin was left out because Justine chose to respect bans. Justine chose to respect ban Suros in the here, right? With the Harley and Suyo ban pick. That's interesting. So ACT is still running a very I would say almost the exact same team comp. Sora was picked for Cairo once more. It's his signature at this point. And with this Guardian C, he's going to get Jusin. CV can just picked up on that Khalid. I think his coordination with Soros is going to be that strong suit still. Meanwhile, Seth chooses to go with Kimmy. But that all depends on like the way that they form like a team fights, right?
I didn't cure the pain. I harnessed it.
Magic is my life. Your team is banning.
And then zone out on the. Wait a minute. Wait. I see that Coach Shadow banned Valentina, so he's convinced that actually like Payen would go with Kimmy. Why would he ban the mate right after Kimmy was picked? So he convinced that Kimmy is actually not going to be on the mid lanes. What? Is that because of doubling down from the fact that, and this doesn't add up at all because Coach Justine he just banned Harith straight away. So that means he's already got his marksman, no? Or he's trying to zone down even more knowing that Payen's got Moskov in his belt. Let's see the last man phase. Who's still opening for ACT? Sora, Khalid. Sorry, they're missing gold laners. Harith already banned. But Claude is still open for Flukyo. But that depends if whether they want to double down on the marksman ban pick as well. I don't think so. They're trying not to narrow down their own objectives here. But there's a chance that King of Gamers might have just gone with another marksman. I'm not sure why ACT is convinced that Kimmy is going to be at the XP lane.
Your team is banning.
Okay, so ban Uranus out from 33. Yeah, you know, it doesn't make any sense because Freya was also picked and there's also a chance of a Freya gold lane as well. But I'm not sure about the components, especially with the ban pick by King of Gamers, whether that's what they're trying to open up. But now they're doubling down on the gold lane, so there's a chance that they're already figuring out that Freya was go to gold lane. Yeah, so they double down with Harith and Kari. But this is, of course, still going to open up Claude for Flukyo. I'm not sure if he would pick that straight up. I mean, it's veteran. And would Payan just go with Claude then? And then 33 can go with Freya. Zed with Kimmy. It doesn't make any sense. So Kalia, Kimmy, they got roamers. They got their either an XP laners already, but interesting. What Nai would play? I mean, right now, XP laners is not really a bad setup at all for a team fight. Because I think that the whole point about Freya is that they gotta make sure that they can, at the very least, like put ACT at base for a single lanes, right? Just to make sure, just to keep them at bay, applying the pressure, and they go with CC and Archive for Kaizen. That kind of makes sense. And then, with this being said, I think it's not CC goal lane, right? Man, I'm tripping. But let's see. Let's see if that's the case. So the way they go by is actually, yeah, 33rd. The CC is going to be in the XP lane, and then Payan rocking that Freya. This is one of the reasons why I was kind of surprised. Are they trying to narrow down to make sure that Flugio actually got Claude? Yeah, just gotta wait and see. But definitely, when we look at the way that King of Gamers actually picked up beforehand, like we see Payan, because Freya was the first pick from King of Gamers, and then he opened it up. I still see, even with Kimmy being picked by Zed already, like ACT still doubling down on that mid lanes with Valentina. I mean, at this point, because they got like Crimson Flare and then, of course, like a Appraiser's Wraith by Fredrin, so that kind of makes sense. But at the same time, when you look at the options for King of Gamers to actually doing a pick off, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Jason 5 Sui, half his HP already gone, heavy spins, chasing out Suros away. But then this is King of Gamers just zoning out the areas for the Turtle Siege here. Meanwhile, 33 needs to hold himself off there. Cairo definitely his main threat, but Suros is lurking around the corner of his screens, definitely. And then 3 against 2. Lantern Flyer by Gun and C. Tron picks up one. I was trying to figuring out how this guy... Okay, so he's trying to use a Lantern Flare to zone out King of Gamers, but that's just driving them closer to the turtle. And then 33, I think, just kind of trying to divert that attention, I guess. Sui to the scene. With it being broken wall, so that's mean that there's also another angles in order for you to flank in for the turtle siege as well. I don't think necessarily that the steal is what many teams are looking forward right now, especially in a dire situation. That used to be the case for another mobile title, but when it's MLBB with a turtle, I'm not seeing that much of a steal. And then ooh, Soros fine now first already trying to diving in, but quite luring out quite a lot of the scales from them. And then, yeah, a lot of trade-off here. Blazing to SS forward. Payan's got the turtles already. Flugio finishing off 33. And then Kaizen got flanking in 3 against 1. A Appraiser's Wraith by Suros finishing him off. I just realized that this is the Fredrin jungle. What? So what is the main objectives here that they go by? Fredrin jungle. Okay, if you look at a replay, yeah, I mean, Crimson Flyer is already by Gan NC trying to lure out as much from King of Gamers as possible, but Payan, of course, used that early scaling of Freya, finishing off both Turtle and also claiming another kills here. But, okay, so King of Gamers gave out 3 kills in favor of the Turtle. So I guess this is the game where King of Gamers still got it. Okay, this is where the next thing that I like to see, because I still don't think this is the right experiment, since we're talking about ACT, right? The fact that they didn't ban Jusin at all, because in this game they're actually the one who picked it. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to me why that would be the case. In any other games here, they either pick Jusin first because they got it. Yep, so Jusin would be banned by them already. This is game number 2, but then right in the game number 1. Okay, so it's a counter pick. So in the very first game, we see that ACTs also didn't ban Jusin, right? So the whole argument about them not banning it, if there's a chance is that it could be the first pick by KOG, is also wrong. But at the same time, this is in hindsight, because this is actually the semifinals. I guess that's what it's called. So yeah, definitely King of Gamers haven't yet to make an adjustment like leading into the finals. And I think that this is also the games where Coach Justine mentioned post interviews that there's actually like a miscommunication, especially with the way that they're gonna finishing off game number 2. So yeah, I mean it's kind of understandable. So this is where they actually got it. King of Gamers already trying to flank them down. Running down the inner turrets on the bottom lanes here. Jason's already finding Sylvie's here. Ooh, he's already dispensing his ultimates. No way, Sylvie. Oh, what a blunder that is. And Garden Seeker, so now he can at least survive. But right now, Tsunami Slams try to dive them out instead. Picking up Sylvie here. And Cairo still did his best to save his friends. It kind of makes sense. And then we have the Lord, definitely. So in this game, actually, King of Gamers got game number 1, right? But then they got reverse sweeped. So I'm very interesting to see how that actually goes. Ooh, okay. This is not really the good timing to actually pick this up. They were up by like, what, 7k gold differences? How is that even possible? So the scaling is not that wild on this place, right? Okay, right now there are 1k differences, but ACT kind of picked up a lot more kills here. Garden C with a pick like Jusin's probably helped the team a lot. He already claimed like 12 assists by this point. But King of Gamers is also going to be the one who actually make it to the scene before them. Let's see. So, damn. Okay, so ACT no longer have any turrets left. This lot is probably very crucial and game ending. King of Gamers, Payan, and Kaysen's already onto him. 33, and I think Niles trying to find the engagement. Picking off one. Gonna get punished straight up. Payan's got the Lord. And then Blazing Duets coming in from Flugio as well. 5 Niles first chasing down, and then claiming Kaysen as a double. So it's 2 against 1, but King of Gamers still got the Lord. So how exactly does ACT... Okay, so he got pushed in mid lanes. What this means is that's going to be the opening that ACT needs. Like, realistically speaking, how can King of Gamers get a lot of Lords, get the Lord, and still being behind in the money? That's crazy. Oh, man. Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, Payan can only do so much. Chasing down his teams already. Sylvie as well. Wow. So they got the Lord, but they cannot really follow through to finishing him, I guess. So yeah, definitely. What was King of Gamers doing? So they choose not to commit to the team fight. I mean, yeah, definitely, because their scalings, ACT scalings was like kind of above 2.2k. But why exactly is that? I really need to know. What is because Sir Ross going with Fredrin? Is it because that he can farm so much? So yeah, even Flugio's goal was ahead. And his itemizations was also way more superior right now, right? Got the Xylem Sight and Corrosive Sight as well. Interesting. Seeing Flugio as well. Flugio was locked in. This is Sylvie. I was just focusing on the players camp here, guys, but definitely if any of you want to look for a different ways that to identify between Sir Ross and Sylvie, I have a very interesting takes on this. It's something that Lois actually pointed out in his live stream once already, and yeah, I think that's definitely the case. It's the way that Sir Ross and Sylvie hold their smartphones when they're playing. If you look at Sylvie, she's playing a bit typical, right? Sorry, let me grab my smartphone. When we play MLBB, right, we go by our thumbs, right? We play by our thumbs. So fingers got left over here, and then we just press by our thumbs. But if you get a chance to look at the way that Sir Ross picked up his game, the way that he plays, you're gonna be quite surprised, I think. I really want to see whether they're gonna cut the cameras to, yeah. So Sir Ross chose to pick it up like this, and the fingers that you see him actually holding the phone with is actually the middle fingers. He holding the fingers with the fingers, and he plays with his index fingers. That's crazy, right? It was very well to me the first time that I noticed it. Yeah, you look at that. Like the fingers that you see him locking his phones on is actually his middle fingers. He played with his index finger instead of his thumb. That was dope. But yeah, I mean, and then the goal differences just kind of spiral out of control after that points onward. I'm trying to give it credits to, I don't even know at this point. I really need to see like the whole item charts in order to figure that out. The last one that I see show up was actually around this time, so let's see. Yep. So King of Gamers put all that goals into Flukio. Meanwhile, for KOG, I see that they're trying to divert the resources to their resources to Payan here. So this is where things were still like kind of iffy. King of ACT is still behind in goals right now, and I think it was because, why exactly? Is it because they claimed the kills right after like a follow-up team fights for the Lord? I think that's the only explanation. Looking back at this in hindsight. Oh, this is why I think. So 2 down, 2 against 1 in KOG's favors. They got pushed here and the loss already, but they cannot finish here though. Oh, so it was Garden C. Yep, he got flanked onto them, and they still managed to secure the Lord though. What? Siri finds Kaizen, Flugio got Payan as well, and wow, they cannot finish. That was so unfortunate. So I think what happened was I see. So what happened is the timing is not really on their side, right? Because the Lord was already got pushed, and we see straight up that Siri and Flugio were so close to being respawned back in. They can make it in time, definitely. So what Cairo and Zeros and Gans has to do is, of course, trying to zone them away, which is exactly what you have with Lantern Flare from Gan and C, right? It kind of forced KOG to always hit and go, hit and move, hit and move. And I think that is the main reason why. They also got Cairo can also pull off an AoE, a crowd control as well. So yeah, traction pulse already from Set. Does that land on nobody? Is that why? So Payan's Valkyrie descent. Where exactly was he trying to do that to Sir Ross? Oh yes, Sir Ross can actually like leave it right in time here. So that already draw out Valkyrie descent by Payan. And then he got picked up straight on by God and C's Lantern Flare. That's all making sense now. So leaving only the Lords to hit the turrets there, they can actually save it all here. And I think Traction Pulse also. Sir Ross. This Sir Ross dodge. If Sir Ross dodges as well, my guy. Bro. Sir Ross. Yeah, I think now it all makes sense in hindsight. And then they're already dishing out all of this ultis and also skills. Not landing on any of ACT. They got distracted from finishing off the base as well. Yeah. It is what it is, man. Tough one. And then, of course, ACT can just follow through. They're still behind 2Ks. But, yep. They're chasing now with the numerical advantages right now. That can be what's actually defining these games here. And yeah, now trying to tsunami slams, drawing damage from the turrets as well, but that's not gonna work. Oh man. Yeah, I start to see like the beginning of the downfalls right now. But I thought that King of Gamers got this game, no? Ooh, okay. Yeah, so King of Gamers actually got this game, but I think there's some glaring signs straight up from this game in the way that they're trying to close down the match, right? Damn. All right, let me go pick up something to drink. I'll be right back with you guys.
I am the daughter of Northernvale. Your team I swear to protect it till my last breath. Your team is banning.
You have to realize just how much of a game plan actually went into this. So yeah, definitely. In the grand finals for King of Gamers, like one thing that you have to realize is that all of it actually played out into the same manners as the rest of the rosters. So it's always going to be that way, right? We're always going to see many of the game plans here being built straight up. So this is a game that King of Gamers, we can talk straight up about that particular moment, because definitely a huge blunder by them. Like it's a trade-off fight that I think ACT just, this game is just kind of coming in better, right? I think Badang by now is not a bad pick, but at the same time, whenever Payan go by Moskov, right? And I think this has been memes before, but the way that his Spear of Destruction can just miss entirely, like that can also be. He's a player that writes a high risk, high reward, right? Payan, which entirely kind of what grants him this success with KOG. But yeah, there's a when we're talking about risk, there's a chances that it might not work. Yeah, see, Spear of Destruction, but it's only landed on them. With this being said, though, Cairo, yeah. So in this game, ACT seems to gain the upper hands. I mean, it all kind of makes sense. King of Gamers actually can push them to the turtles here, maybe? So they keep them at bay straight up. And right now it's 7k goal differences. They're trying to put all the goals into the junglers, so that's going to be Kaizen. There's probably some blunders every now and then, but yeah, definitely. This is the, I don't think this is a one where ACT sort of won in a convincing fashion. King of Gamers got a turtle, yes, but the way that they can control the spacing and kind of keep the momentums going after they can gain all of this space from finishing off the first two tiers of the turrets. Yeah. And then maybe we can go with this. Yep. For ACT, yes. The Lords flank in. With the Lords, he's gonna go up straight still. King of Gamers can still regroup here. Set trying to find other ankles to go bind. Go up against Sir Ross. Already copying his Phantom Steed here, but cannot capitalize on much. Fukyovich now here. And 33 by himself alone. Infernal Pursuits trying to zone out one, but then he's gonna get guards and Z first for Sir Ross, finishing off for his friends. And ACT equalize. I mean, that kind of makes sense. That's not really the main gist of it. I want to see this game. Because this third game is where things go by. Cairo with actually Terizla. And then another thing that I have to look. Sorry, I should have looked at this since game number 2. So in this game, Coach Justine banned Juicin first. Okay, makes sense. That's the reason why King of Gamers did not pick him. And then there's game number. Oh, who will we with? Oh, just a fans. So for this one, so ACT does not ban Juicin as well.
Magic is my life.
Okay, so Juicin says open up for grabs, but King of Gamers, if you look at the tendency, yeah, okay, so they got Juicin. Is this the entire reason? So a lot of arguments that were being made against Coach Shadow decisions were saying that, oh, because he mentioned this in an interview, this is in his own words, right? He said that they know a way to deal with Juicin. Which, okay, if you look by the result, that's not the case. But if you look at the way that King of Gamers can actually, that ACT can actually win this game with Z on Juicin already, it kind of makes sense that maybe they want to give priorities ban to Harith, which, if I remember correctly, also made it into the grand finals. Yeah, it doesn't really add up, but so far it's gonna go more so into. I give all the credits to Coach Justine, definitely. So yeah, Juicin is the first pick for Z. They can go by with another options and maybe straight up. Would they just secure the gold lanes? I don't think so. But maybe a jungler would be nice. Basia is, I think, up. Oh no, sorry, Soros just got him. So who else? Basia, Soros, yada yada, Suyo, Vacation. No doubt he can play Suyo, but I'm trying to think of whether a pick that you're trying to go along with Juicin. Whenever you got that setup. Okay, not zoning down on the jungler yet, but got carry for Payan straight away. It kind of amazing how you realize that the game plans for each two teams heading into this is all differences. If you compare this match up, which is actually in the upper brackets, you compare that to the grand finals, it's entirely different. And you see straight up that how King of Gamers adapt and how ACTs actually develop on from their foundations. So it kind of makes sense to me. Like you cannot really fault Coach Shadow by that much, even though you might put emphasis on Juicin picks, but that cannot be as important as another threat that they think can disrupt the way they play and throw off the whole game plans, right? Maybe Juicin is not part of that. I mean, you can look at into the more, I would say, just more components of how games were played. But if you look at the most used hero by Payan is actually Moskov. The way that Payan play Moskov is that he always use SOD in order to kind of put pressure on the opposite side lane, like on the far lanes, as we call them. And then of course with the scaling that for most in more times than not, King of Gamers is gonna gain the upper hand. He's gonna be able to scale Moskov up in order for him to be very effective, especially when he locks down with only his normal attack. And then the Spear of Crescents as well, I think it can play a big part when you look at how Thai teams choose to go with the team fight centrics. So yeah, many of the time they will group up right together. So the Spear of Crescents passive is going to be very much in effect here. But if that's the case, I wonder why no other marksmen no other gold laners for Thai teams actually play them. Because I'm pretty sure, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Payan is the only one who played Moskov in MSL Thailand Season 1. Okay, now they choose to ban Fredrin as well. Are they trying to ban Fredrin as an XP later? Because now already got Cho. I mean, this is a game where King of Gamers lost. So, I mean, in hindsight, it kind of already being clear here. But at the same time, if you look at the way that each team can actually progress on, especially with the second phase of the ban picks here, you see that King of Gamers, especially in this game, they're trying to be very, I guess, diverse. They're trying to diversify their risk here. You ban Lilias for the mid lanes, and then also with the jungler pick, you ban one gold laners as well with the Selena, and then also Uranus and Freya. So yeah, it kind of makes sense, right? And then you compare that to ACT, who's still up until this point, right? Just go with the Akai, and then I think that they have a bit clearer, I would say clearer pictures of how they wanted to force King of Gamers' hands into playing these games. But with that being said, I think that if I remember correctly, this is the game where ACT chose to go with so that's the end. I think this is a setup, and also this very game is the exact reason why Core Shadows were confident. No, not confident. Sorry, Core Shadow were adamant about going with Jusins by letting Jusins being picked by Zed for the entire four game series. Because if you look at the way that they're trying to counter Jusins here, is of course trying to outrange her, right, with Zertian. And then you also have Basia beforehand as well, to cover up for the rotations here already. And also Sir Ross play him already several times. You can kind of pair that up, and then Flukyo got the Claw. This is the setups that I think that ACT can kind of already force their hands into. That is why they're trying to, especially in the finals, they're trying to go with a more obvious ban picks like Harith instead, trying to deny them from Payan's hands. But then at the same time, I'm pretty sure that in the grand finals, like Harith also being picked by Payan's like constantly as well, almost as repetitive as Zed's Jusins. So what's the point here, right? And then Leomord for Kazin. I mean, look, it all makes sense, but I already talked about how Phantom Steeds when you talk about Phantom Steeds, like it's a runway outage, right? You gotta go in at the exact angles, especially if you want to zone out any of the vulnerable backliners from ACT. But what we're seeing here is that, especially in a big team fight, in the scrimmages, a lot of players can be displaced, and we're seeing this could be straight up an anti-synergy with the way that now can do the knockout with Way of the Dragon from show, and then set, of course, with a Lantern Flare beforehand. So like we're seeing that the potential team fight that King of Gamers could have bring over, they can already be like the way that they can, that ACT, if it were to go into their favors, right, ACT would be displaced all over the place with Way of the Dragon. So you need to find the correct setups in order for Phantom Steed to work as a follow-up damage and as a one that can close out on the kills. Yeah, I mean, look, it kind of makes sense. And then if you look into the exact games, if I remember correctly, this is the game that were kind of unfortunate for King of Gamers because they were actually a few minions shy of finishing off the base, right? And then, or they were miscommunicated, as Coach Justine say, anyways, into the main reasons. And that was the reason why they lost this game, which are supposed to tell me that this is a very much a close game here. Okay. And then, yeah, and then a mashup between now. Ooh, great movement by Flukyo. Did Flukyo go for Purifier? Sorry, let me check. Yeah, he does. What? I'm seeing a different retribution spells here from Kazin and Sir Ross as well. But yeah, sets with Crimson Flare first. Provide a refuge for his friends. Golden Hour is going to find him. Sylvie here. And up onto 2. Ooh, Flukyo. Not caught onto Zed here, and I think Sir Ross got the turtle. And then they're trying to break out into another fight here, but they got outnumbered. 33 finds Sylvie first already, but at this point, he can out-sustain them though. Dang. Yeah, everything kind of like, when you look at the outlook of each micro team fights, right, it seems like everything's supposed to go into King of Gamers' hand. Now with the Way of the Dragons, fire Sir Ross straight up, and then Payan finishing him off there. Man. I think he's trying to leave out the way with the way the club could be picked by Flukyo. They can just reposition themselves rather quickly. So even with all the forced CC by King of Gamers like team composition, you cannot really fault them. Ooh, Payan got picked up. ACT is still going strong with the macro games. I think I started to see like the way that the games were being played here. 33, reciprocate Kairo's challenge. But that's not gonna pick up onto nobody though, right? And then you got now against Sylvie. Yep, he finds Sylvie already. Great setup here. Yeah, we're gonna see that every now and then, right? Z. Oh, Lantern Flare caught onto Sir Ross here, but still no one to do a follow-up damage here. AC could have escaped here unscathed, but of course King of Gamers trying to contest this turtle as well. Sir Ross doing his due diligence straight away. Meanwhile, Kaizen kind of being reluctant a bit. He's gonna get opened up straight up by ACT here. Sir Ross already with the turtles, and a fight breaks through here. Crimson Flare coming in. Crimson Beacon by Z. Right in the middle of the commotions. Sir Ross got zoned out here, but ooh. Interestingly, no one's got killed except Kaizen here, which I think is a follow-up damage here at the turrets. Where exactly was Kaizen killed? Sorry. So Kaizen got killed by Flukyo. I'm wondering about where that was. Right. Cairo against Kaizen. Okay. It was Cairo and he's trying to zone down Kaizen. How can you do that? Ooh. Okay. And then did he also trade himself off? Yeah, probably. Yeah, you can only do so much. It's only a matter of time. Yeah, but keeping Kaizen away from that fight was the right call. And then, yeah, ACT can just use this advantage to push onto the turrets. Same can be said for Payan. It's probably a trade-off. Ooh. So the way that ACT kind of positioning themselves here, like the setups between Sir Ross and then Sui to guarantee a hit, that was quite. I mean, look, it's great, and of course it's very it's nice for the eyes, but at the same time you have to understand that it can also be predictable. So that's mean that if you were to see if you were to see Sir Ross and Sylvie is right behind you, and you would know better not to engage in the fights when you are keeping track of Sir Ross' skills and utils, that he got enough to follow through and also finishing you off, right? And then you're trying to compare that with the setups in the grand finals, which I think we'll get to see soon enough, but yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a expanding river, right? So the rotation will be much faster. Kaizen is the first to level 12. But right now they are down in terms of turrets. And then now trying to contest this Lord. Ooh. What is going on at the back line? So yeah, ACT was already onto the Lord, now trying to contest, and then 33 trying to fight Kaizen. So they give up the Lord here because they left only one person in there, which is now. And then Payan supposed to speedy view right into the circle there. Maybe that's what is going on. And Seth trying to provide him covers with also Crimson Beacon. And then Fury of Phoenix by God and Z. Sir Ross found out first, but Kaizen's got the Lord. And then the fight breaks off. Sui got caught by two in the bush there. Has to disengage. 33 chasing now on Gan and C, trying to find another kills as a presence and souvenir. But his HP was low instead. Sui finding Z instead. As KOG is going to be on the back foot instead. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And And then I think that yeah, ACT basically at this time like they're okay, so their timing is really on KOG side, right? They can invade the buff. So I think that the only explanation is that yeah, I think that the explanation is going to be that top lanes here. What could ACT possibly gain from getting rid of that openings already, but Guardian C found nows already, equalizing on the kill tallies, and then yeah, KOG still gain the upper hands, right? They still got more kills, straight up 4K in goal differences, already opening up all the bases. So this is the exact same problem that they encountered in game number 2, right? Sorry, in game number 1. Interesting. So 33 in Payan against... Yep. I mean, when you can hold it off to the fact that MSL Thailand's like average game time is like 20 minutes, you can expect like most of the heroes, unless it's a snowball game right from the get-go, you can expect like the game to go both ways with how the heroes were scaled up, right? So really there was no room for yeah, there was no room for mistakes. Seeing... Okay, so they're trying to group up and trying to maybe draw out another big fights in order to gain an upper hands into the Lord Siege, but now it's not the timing. It's about a minute away from the Lords. Where I'm trying to get to is that King of Gamers were the one who secured the Lords all the way through. And then it was them who were unable to finishing off the base, and that kind of give ACTs like the opening they need in order to snowball the entire things and get the victory. Yeah, but ACT has to deal with also the minion waves on the top lane as well, which is kind of crazy because they actually get the outer turrets there first. So how did they fix the timing of the minion waves in order to go up against King of Gamers? Ooh, 33 and now's got caught within Marcel's from Sylvie's skills. And then there was also the way that they can actually spread up as well, because King of Gamers will be the first to the Lord. But Sylvie this time, I think he's being more proactive here with Cairo, of course. And then they're going to try to flank them away, I guess. Yeah, so I think that all in all, the main blunders was the fact that... whoop, this is all the highlights. So, who got the Lord? Ah, so Kaizen got... Ah, I see now. So, yeah, basically King of Gamers they're trying to go at it two ways, right? Either to commit to a team fights here and are trying to drive Flugio away, or in which exact direction should they force the fight towards. It is all about the spacing here, and it kind of give openings to Cerdos one more. This is the exact same game, same sort of like situation we saw with the match up against Buriram in the play-ins. Oh, and 2 down by King of Gamers. So this is it, right? They snowball the entire things. One got one down after another. Set's gonna be the next to fall, and this is what ACT needs. The opening here now, trying to knock up onto 3, but yep, definitely the rest was respawn not in time. Clearly, they're very elated. Ooh. Yep. So this is where ACT gained the upper hand. And then we look at through in the last game. So this one, yeah, King of Gamers was the one who banned it. It kind of makes sense now because Jusin was never something that Coach Shadow has to consider banning. It's either that the opposition's banned it for him, or he picked it by himself for Guardian Z. So it kind of add up in terms of how like the priorities for Jusin in terms of ACT from ACT's perspective. Yeah. I will always see this. The main reason why King of Gamers can gain the upper hand in the grand finals in such a fashion, Jusin was only a part of it. You have to give credits to Payan's Harith. Leomod being picked quite a lot. KOG Cup. I think that was his friend. Yeah, I mean that's a school. I believe it's right around the Lad Prow area, which is where like Central Paul Lad Prow was also where it was as well.
Sand rises when I give the word.
Yep, definitely. What is next, right? What was Zed's mid lane's choice though? That's what I also want to know. They go with Hilda here, which is of course like a hero that you can kind of put pressure on when, like, if you guys ever play basketball and you ever hear a joke in a basketball that sometimes the toughest, if you are good at basketball, the toughest opponents that you can go up against is actually someone who doesn't know how to play basketball. Because whatever tricks you're trying to pull up on them, whatever sort of faked, they're just not caught up with it because they don't know what you're trying to do. They don't know what you expect them to do. So they just stand still and not fall for your tricks. I think that might be explainable for what ACT is going through, especially not only this match that they won against King of Gamers, but also the next one where they beat BaconTime as well. It's just the fact that they were not as experienced in MLBB. It's kind of an oxymoron, very paradoxical considering how good they are, but maybe it's the fact that they're not buying into whatever sort of baits that King of Gamers or any other top teams doing against them because they don't know what to expect. So they just keep playing to their game plans, recognize everything as a bait, not falling for nothing, and then capitalize on the team fights. Because if I were to look at ACT performances in the first day of the playoffs, I have to admit that they didn't really, I would say there's no standing out players who step up. I mean, Flukyo definitely isn't his top form, but that was about it. The rest, I would say, were quite like on par in terms of their standards. Like it's definitely not low, but it's not like outrageously high when it's come to their quality. Maybe that's the reason. Let me check my camera. Okay, everything's still going well. I mean, hopefully for most parts. And then the last pick. Yeah, so Cairo once again with Sora. Flukyo got the Harith. Payan with the Moscot once more. I'm trying to think about how do you expect King of Gamers game plan to work, because you have now who have to be very forefront and also staying away from the teammates as well. Maybe that's why we don't see as much Hilda as possible. Because Hilda requires a lot of like an individual, not individual skills, but individual tendencies to like stay away from the team fights, trying to be at the forefront and also trying to draw engagement straight up, even before your teammates were ready to open up a big fight. And then we can follow it through with, I guess now, maybe not. Yep. Basically, if I remember, this is the game that like both sides of the turrets were gone. Yeah, it's a very close one here, but it's a 5k goal differences from King of Gamers here. How could they potentially lose this, especially with another loss already upcoming? So they got a turret as well, and I think that it's a miscommunication that Coach Kazin talked about. Yeah, let's see. Lord is already approaching here. Cairo trying to do an early push. Now not committing on to the fights at this angle here, because like 4 of ACTs were already shutting down that angles, but at the same time 33 is opening up to go up against Sir Ross. If I'm not mistaken, okay, right, there was a bit of a cool down time here, so Phantom Seed was ready, but then 33, I think, I'm pretty sure like 33 can also like invest it into Infernal Pursuit to solo out Leomord as well, but I guess it's the fact that Zed was still behind them all. Like he's still like at the middle of the map here, so he's not ready to contribute to the fight. And then Kaizen tried to split push on the bottom lanes here. Yeah, so there were a lot of man downs here for King of Gamers. Yes, they have the Lord, but especially in the late game scalings, you cannot really rely on Lord as another damage dealers anymore. In the early game, especially in the snowball cases, yeah, definitely you can kind of like tip the engagements over the fact that you are currently having a lot of damage at the expense, so you can kind of outgun your opponents. But then when it's cases like this, yeah, you cannot really rely on Lord like that to kind of divert your attentions, because ACT could have just do the same. So now found him first. Kaizen rotates to the mid lane here. A minion waves coming in straight up. And ACT already have to start committing to the Lord here. Phantom Steed coming in by Sir Ross, finishing off the base already. But King of Gamers chose not to commit. Here's the reason. They leave it to the Lord here, and it kind of allow Kairos to hold them off here. Salman Frost coming in from Flukyo got the Lord here instead, and then King of Gamers trying to punish him. But ACT's got it ready. Zed with Fury of Phoenix, but that couldn't break onto nobody here. 33 HP is not ready for the big engagement here. Flukyo has to Immortality brought himself back up, but then, oh, I think we found it. So, Series on such a low HP here as well. God NC find Kaizen. Where exactly was that? God NC was here. Ah, he solo Kaizen right here. So right now, King of Gamers is a person down. And then Flukyo take the brunt since he's the one with the immortality. Got brought back up, and I think it was Sir Ross. Sir Ross driving them in here. Yeah, definitely. Either that or Cairo. It has to be Cairo who used the CC here, and they managed to disrupt ACT. Like 3 of them at the same time. Gan still got the damage in. His positioning is also quite safe here. Flukyo with the immortality already close to the base here, so he is safe as well. And that's keep all the openings that ACT needs to dish out the damage to wipe out King of Gamers. Yeah, so King of Gamer has to leave. And you even with another wave of minions here, right? Let's see. So Cairo straight up 533. He chooses to engage even when his HP is not ready. That's also a blunder. He got immortality though, and now trying to cover up for him, but yeah, got flanked by God in C. That point is probably already clear, right? Whoop. Let me check real quick. All right. Lot has been spawned here, and yeah, definitely that team fight is here where ACT managed to gain the upper hand, but that's still behind in goals. And I guess like also other stuff here. I mean, it all makes sense. And then you try to make it in the same manners. So Ross fouled him straight up. Ooh. And then, yeah, this is it, man. 2 against, like, it's 1 against 1 right now, but to concede a kill at this state is so dangerous. It's a minute of cooldown time before you can respawn back. So yeah, definitely this is where ACT started to gain the momentums back, and I think that it's at this point where ACT, the game was also already open here. And then, yep, the reverse sweep was complete. All of the turrets almost gone. ACT did it. Sheesh, they find the opening at the bottom lanes here. When you can see the kill at that point. So I think that's the fact that King of Gamers let it scale onto the late games, right? That's the main factual point that we have to take into considerations here. They let it go to late games where it can go both ways, especially in MSL Thailand. So they're finishing off the game with managing to equalize the goal differences at 81k. Yeah, man, this is all written. It's all written. It's all written. ACT actually did it. I try to go with the way that they celebrate as well because of how Payan behaved at the end of the grand finals. It was like quite a talk about points in the community as well. But like, yeah, can't see that trying to like rouse the crowd up. But yeah, definitely, Coach Justine definitely trying to support the teams. I think clearly they are quite hurt by this. Oh man, Kaysen. Yeah, especially when you look into hindsight and you realize about how what Kaysen was going through, right? So, his family members there's a health issue with his family members. They got admitted to ICUs very early on, since the playoff stage begins. Yeah, so definitely he had to carry all that baggage and trying to perform at his best. Man, like it's so tough. And then later on, like the fact that that Kaysen lost his family members in the finals, right in the morning before the grand final stage, like it's mental. And like and also like my condolence to Kaysen and also his family. But like, yeah, it's very much a tough cause here. You have to understand that, like, you know, I understand that this is a great achievement for him, right? For Kaysen, for him to actually win this tournament, to be successful as an MLBB players, which is something I hope he aspires to be. But I don't think that can be like the refuge for his grief and his loss. So I can only hope that his success and accomplishments can help you with can help you grant some sort of like refuge in this tough time, Kaysen. So respect, brother.
ก็คิดว่าเพราะว่าโค้ชดาวดีด้วยครับก็เลยเล่นง่าย
A lot of credit to the coach
ชอบให้โค้ชแล้วก็ทีมเราสื่อสารกันได้ดีด้วย
and also communications. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And then
เพราะว่าถือว่าเกินความคาดหมายจริงวันนี้เราสัมภาษณ์
yep, you guys gotta beat BaconTimes. Oh, you guys beat King of Gamers. That always gonna be a talk about move here, no doubt. Huh. And then, yeah, we can go along with that, but at the same time, you have to also look at exactly the way that the games can be played as well. So here's the drafting phase for. I'm not sure if that's that much to talk about for BaconTime and Tenacity, but yeah, basically, I think it's just the cases of. Yeah, I think it's just the cases of the fact that Spider Mouse choose to go with a surprise pick with Florian, and I think that kind of enables BaconTime to go like a Ube mode. This is something that even the English casters also brought up, right, with the Ube mode here. The fact that they have the sustainers in the team, which is honestly the team composition that we not normally sees among the teams here in MSL Thailand. So I think that's kind of throw away off when you realize that you can kind of sustain yourself in the team fights. With the right damage dealer, of course, B-Boss deal with the Bashir. And then got NC, also got Harith. Yeah, that's going to be crucial. And then you're trying to compare that to Tenacity with a pick like Katot. Now, Katot is good, but like you really need to be the one to initiate the team fight. So you kind of be forced to use AOG as a way to get out, as a get out card. That's not how it works, man. And if it does, it's an alarming sign straight away. I think I'm gonna need a toilet break here real quick, guys. I'll be right back. Whoop, I'm back. Is it just me or is it? I definitely need that, man. Definitely needs to. But if you look at the team fights here, you have to realize that actually the way that the teams goes by when you're trying to commit into the team fights here, the way that BaconTime can actually dictate the tempo into their favors. I think that is already like one of the main reason why, man. And then let's see. So even in objectives here, I mean, Tenacities, BaconTime is just gonna let Tenacities have all of this. But if I remember correctly, this is I mean, it's best of 5, right? But then I think BaconTime actually won this cleanly, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, Water got the turtles already. BaconTime needs to go for a kill here as a collateral, but BS fine exhausts. Lord Guys as well got sewn up by KOG. We're gonna fishing him off. They're gonna be Gun and C who do that instead. Yeah, it all kind of makes sense, right? When you look at the grand finals. And also the way that Tenacities can also play out like this. But it's a matchup that kind of go into BaconTime instead. So if you look at the way ahead of them, I think that all the credits has to be given to, I think, B-Boss who step up, and then also Gun and Z. But then if you're gonna go along with the way that they can dictate the tempo, I mean, at this time right now, BaconTime's got picked off here, man. Is this also again whether they lost the first game? I'm not sure, man, if it actually is. So no, BaconTime got it. Let me see. How exactly can it get? How can it come back from this? Tenacity is already trying to close down on the bottom lanes here. Gun and Z's. Oh, he got flanked on here. He has to use Salmon Force straight up. Okay. Tenacity is also being kept away as well. 3 from BaconTime supporting the back lines. He has their fine Water. BS with AOG is trying to provide support, but then already Alepto Final Blaze coming in from Benedetta as well. But KOG is going to be traded off because Gun and Z's got that triple kill. Man, that's exactly the reason why. This could be the exact moment that kind of turned the whole thing around for BaconTime. That's dope. And then with the itemizations, yeah, a lot of them being flanked onto Tenacity. Wait, sorry, man, that's way too fast. Interesting. So we see a straight up a very different ideas in terms of a goal prioritization. We see Tenacity used to go all in for Leomord, for Water, right? And then also subsequently for Griffith as well with this Claude pick. But then when you look at BaconTime, B-Boss almost have the lowest amount of gold here because they tried to put more emphasis on KOG's Benedetta. And then, of course, Harith by Gun and Z. I think what they're trying to do right now is BaconTime trying to make sure that they gain the upper hands, especially in the lane phase, because they really need to deal with all these opening positions, which can all go south real quick if they're not properly managing the minion waves. So they're really gonna need to make sure that like the main damage dealers can keep up with the timing of fending away the minion waves and then joining in the team fights right on time. Which is kind of what happens in that team fight, right? We see both KOG and then also Gun and Z stepping up, although it's Gun and Z who claim the triple kills. But yeah, you have to also give credits to Benedetta from KOG as well for really draw out all the skills here. We see AOG being expenses, and I believe like maybe Blazing Duet somewhere along the line as well. Let me adjust my posture. Yeah, but yeah, here's a way. So Alepto Final Blaze being opened up straight up, but yeah, By that time, Gun C was already with the Salmon Force. If he even put that before, right? Okay, so Kang is here, but it's the fact that Tenacity dive into the turrets. That's why it creates so much opening, and Griffith choose to go with the bracing duet right in the turrets there, man. Maybe not the best call. You have to understand that also is because none of Tenacities were actually taking the brunt of the turret's damage beforehand, so there's really no way for them to confirm the kills here. It was a gamble at that point for them to dive into the turrets at that point so that they can see the triple kills by Gun and Z. Okay, so the Lord has been spawned. BaconTime was the first to the scene. Right now, they're already equalized on the goal differences. Initiates onto the Lord. Exhort. Trying to hold 3 for Tenacity at the side. Phantom Steeds coming in from Waters. Trying to chasing him down. Kang and Spider-Man trying to flanking in from the right side. Trying to find him. But basically, from Griffiths already being expensive to confirm the kill. Salmon Frost and out the Guardians. Fighting 2 by BS. But right now, he's in the enemy's territory. And Gun and C still going along with the monster kill. Finding Water already. Oh, man. But I mean, right now, okay, but Tenacity, that was way too premature of them to chasing down the Lord, though. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to drawbacks because they already expend most of their skills, right? Which makes sense, but then they open up on Lord straight away when they know that they don't have the means to close him down. So instead, right now, instead of like shutting out any potential angles, they allow B-Boss into the area. So right now he got all the infos that 4 or maybe even 3 from from Tenacities were already on scenes. Yeah, man. And with this being the case, Tenacities, they can last from the HP deficits from the Lords here, but another fight is being committed right now. Kang 5 BS. Without the Guardian being expenses. Water got the Lord though, but now he's gonna get chased now as a collateral by BaconTime. He managed to finishing off Exalt beforehand even, man. Okay, but they're trying to invade the purple buff. BaconTime still with the numerical advantages. Find the inner turrets on the mid lane straight away. Gun and C chasing down. Looking for next target here. Salmon Frost being expensed. Griffith HP is halved. And they're gonna get the inhibitor turrets here as well. Man, BaconTime can be quite aggressive and certain, especially in big team fights. But Lord is being expensed on the top lane here instead. And even, oh my days, I just realized at BaconTime's half. Oh, so how did they deal with this? So this is the reason why, if you look at the goal differences beforehand, Kang is actually like the one who holds the second most amount of gold from BaconTime. And I think that because of this, yeah, Tenacity is not going to be able to follow through with the Lord to capitalize on the base siege. But yeah, at the very least, BS can find the info for his friends. And then maybe with the... Yeah, okay, so they still hold off the Lord. Nothing really lost. They can even stave off another base of the minion waves to crash with them right before the river as well. And then BS... A blunder there, my friend. Salmon Frost and Lepto Final Blaze gonna claim him with Gun and see his kills. Song Jinwoo got chased down. B-Boss trying to find him. Shield Unity about to be online at any moment. Trying to commit to this chase, but yeah, that's probably it. So they can put Tenacities back into their half of the maps here. I just realized, like, wait, what? It's Flying Cloud, right? But okay, it makes sense. So if it's Flying Cloud, then BaconTime's gonna have way more times to kind of like catch up onto the fight, especially when they gain the upper hand here. So of course, all the priorities for them is gonna be trying to push Tenacities back into the half of the map. But then, how can they do that with this minion base disadvantages? I'm really curious. So always, minion waves is gonna crash down into it. Right now, it's way behind on both on both far lanes, right? Yeah, man. I don't really get it either. But yeah. I mean, look, I think it might be time for me to adjust my camera. because I'm really not getting good views here. Wait. I mean, it technically does, but I really have to sit straight. Got my posture right. Yeah, I mean, that's gotta be the way it is, I guess. Whoop. Lord, the evolved Lord being spawned. BS actually sneaky. BaconTime's gonna chase our Song Jinwoo Lord guys first, keeping away from the commotions, and BS opening up his position right here. Invisible trying to get out there. Alepto final blaze from Kang Kang's already being expensed here. Salmon Frost from Gun and Seas finding Song Jinwoo here in water as well. Oh man, nice play by Gun and Sea here. Kang Kang would follow through with Song Jinwoo, blessing the wets, making him untargetable here by Griffith, but Exod was chasing him down. Oh man, everyone from BaconTime step up. So that's the reason why, yeah. Okay, at this point, it's kind of not a surprise anymore who won it. Is it a clean sweep? Is it 3-0? Oh, this one is close as well. Sorry. Yeah, I think this is a clean sweep. CBS communicating with Griffith. Yeah, it's a clean sweep.
Sand rises when I give the word.
Banning
Banned by Noel. Didn't really want like water to picking up on the mechanicals jungler, which makes sense, but yeah, at the same time. Oh, Dr. Mars like my live streams. That's actually lovely.
I am a daughter of Northern Vale. Your team I swear to protect it till my last breath.
I am not the only one bound by these chains.
Butterflies born by thy wish, guided by lantern's light.
We're seeing MSC here is going to be set at 10 to 13 of July. Okay. So the date was already locked up. I'm probably going to do a content about how can we exactly do this, right? I wish the Thai side has many viewers in the Philippines. Man, that's going to be tough. But who knows, right? Who knows? We got our Dark System fight. It seems to have really a lot of fun there. 4 hours ago. Yep. King of Gamers, Peppermint. Peppermint? That's such a... I'm so familiar with that name, Peppermint. So right now, as we speak, there's actually another tournament going on, which is going to be a Rich Man Lady Cup, hosted by none other than the Thai casters, Dr. Marks, Bird 5 Star. I've heard Paul Pon also join in today as well. I actually wanted to do a watch along, but I'm not sure if that's allowed. I'm probably ask for his permission sometimes tomorrow, because I really want to push out the current ongoing tournaments, right? Trying to keep it going, trying to keep it flowing. Benny QT looking for a team. Interesting. So Harith still goes to Gun and Z. You know, we may be going through the same sort of dilemmas as I think that letting Harith through is a bigger commitment, is a bigger crimes than Jusin. I'm not even joking. So even with Noel, Coach Noel, going with a Fanny ban pick, which is kind of like a way to expand the slots away as well for the opening of Freya. I'm not even sure if Freya was played by Gun and C. Like, okay, maybe, but like, is he playing it that well? that's also my second questions, because we really have to consider the edge that each sort of picks actually affects the players from your opponents. So you cannot really expect Freya to be that sort of, I don't know. I think Freya is a value pick, sure, in terms of how they can help you dominate how it can help you dominate the early games, and maybe that's exactly what Tenacity is trying to stay away from. Once again, we talk about how heading into any matches, any coach probably already have their own. They probably already have their own setups, right? They probably know what sort of game plans can help them achieve victory, and what conditions, from the heroes that they can keep away from with the ban picks, in order to ensure that their winning conditions actually take place for them. So for me, it kind of all makes sense that we seeing Coach Shadow chose not to go with with the Jusin ban. We're seeing him prioritize other, but with that being said, yes, I think if there's any faults that we can land onto any coaches, is Harith. I think it's too impactful of a pick to get rid of. You need to get rid of Harith straight away. And I think, isn't that what Leo also said in his live? In the cast? He also mentioned that like keep the Harith away from King of Gamers, or keep a Harith away from ACT. And of course, like, King of Gamers gonna respect that, either with a way to force their hand with the first ban pick or not. But like, come on, man. All right, I mean, that's it for man. That for sure is loud. Hopefully it's not too much for you guys. But yeah, if we're gonna look at the grand finals, I just want to see the way that the games was. Oh, it's some sort of text. Sorry. Oh, every teams begins with the same dreams, to reach the pinnacles of MSL Thailand Season 1.
MSL Thailand Season 1 จากรอบ qualifier
Damn. So yeah, definitely a showdown between Sylvie and Nile. What you have to understand as well is Nile is such a flexible player. So he started off as a mid lane, right? Back when Zed was still haven't settled in with the team yet. We saw now actually rocking that mid laners, and he performed quite, I would say, on par, like definitely up to the standards of a winning team's mid laners. But then that was because Hugo was still with the team as a roamer as well. I mean, Hugo, yeah, definitely one of the most brilliant individual in Thai esports here, Hugo. And I just have to say that the fact that he can recognize that the team are in more demands of the more suitable talent, even though he is also performing quite well himself, to put himself out and become the team allies to support Justine instead. Like, for me, that just shows a sign of maturity and experience, So definitely he deserved the success as well with the team, Hugo. And then also now, definitely. Man, I mean, we talk about, when you just look at the matchups here, we also have Cairo and then also 33 as well. So the way that I try to fault them through is not really about them. Yeah. I mean, when you look at it detail by detail, I have an idea about content for eSport Nation Cups, right? But that takes place right on the November. So I think that's not really up until that point, we're already gonna go past MSL Thailand Season 2. I expect that we're gonna see a lot more emerging talents, especially for the Thai representative. Because as it stands right now, I would give it to either, okay, look, XP laner has to be 33. You can argue for Cairo, and then yeah, Cairo, I would say. So it's either between, wait, was it? Yeah, it's Cairo, right, who played for the team. Cairo was not Cairo. Yeah, that's correct already. Cairo was XP laner. It's 33. Cairo. Noragon is not bad at all, but if you judge him based on his performances from Buriram in this season, I don't think he stepped up that much. I think Kang also falls into the same category. Like definitely a solid players with the accomplished teams, but like they really need more rooms to. They're gonna really need more rooms to win this. And oh, KOG, dang, show some guns, bro. What? Man, they got like the entire like fluorescent paint. The crowd were also quite large as well. I mean, yeah, and in the first day of the playoffs, they changed the venue as well. And I mean, this might be for you guys as a foreign audience, as a foreign viewers who are not Thai natives. But there's a major difference between Little Connect, which is where the regular season took place, and then the BCC Hall at Central Lad Pao. Look, both sides were accessible by our SkyTrain BTS. Yes, that's correct. But man, it's so far. The BCC Hall at Central Lad Pao is so far from the city center. It's kind of crazy. You know, it's entirely different part of Bangkok that was really way too far from me. I was planning to go to attend the Little Connect at least for once because it was so close to where I stay. But like when it's like BCC Hall, I just have to go, man. I give up. I really cannot attend it, especially that was way before I got gigs with Junior Ballers League as well. So that was already like a door shut for me. So sorry if I didn't attend. I want to check the first band phase. So in this case, it makes sense, right? We talk about how ACT were never in a position where they have to choose whether to ban Jusin or not. So clearly this time they chose not to. And then Jusin's probably being the first pick from Justine, I guess. Yep. When Coach Shadow mentioned that he knows how to deal with Jusin, that the team knows how to deal with Jusin, I'm wondering if it was talking about the pick phase, the drafting phase, or the actual in-game implications. Because, as I mentioned, a Kai ban is not nonsensible when it's being picked onto Kaizen. That's also going to be problematic. Heavy spin would just allowed him to roam free, especially in a turtle siege or even a turtle hijack. So that makes entire sense. But you're letting Harith go, and if I were to make it, Cairo, it better be picked for Cairo when I'm talking about Harith. Yeah, he had to go with Harith, and then yeah, Harley as well for Zeros. Now for her King of Gamers, let's see. King of Gamers. I mean, okay, yeah, they got so many of options here. I think Zed could have gone for Sertian. Is it Sertian? I don't know at this point. But yeah, Kaizen still along. Yeah, they choose not to go with the mid lane's Pearl yet because for real, ACT haven't really capitalized on that either. For Gan NC with a shutdown with I think they're probably trying to go for a value pick on the top lane. So 4 viewers is interesting. I don't know why I'm trying to guess like a draft picks of a match that's already concluded. But yeah, right now 4 viewers is open. That depends on the priorities because right now Romer has been opened up and they're definitely not going to try to go with Valentina first. Why did it go for Valentina right now? Because if you look at KOG's game plan right now, I would argue that none of the ultimates were actually that impactful, worthy of IMU. I just don't know. Are they trying to anticipate it? Like, I don't know, Sora? No, Sora was already banned. Would it can't be Infernal Pursuit that they were trying to keep away, right? For IMU to copy it. But yeah, definitely it doesn't make sense. Yeah, so of course ACT is gonna ban Phobia straight away. For King of Gamers right now trying to deny maybe LHP lane as well, but would they try to jump into the scrum as well and shut down their options too? Maybe not. Junglers being there, roamers maybe, high loss. No, but I don't ever see ACT play high loss. Could be Kalia. All the roamers options. Maybe they try to shut down the roamers option here because I mean, King of Gamers already got a foot on the door already with the Khalid pick, so they can just disregard it entirely and shut down the roamers positioning for Sylvie. I think Kalia is a sensible ban pick. Yep. Last ban picked by ACT. They could just double down onto the XP lane to deny 33 even further. If they really respect him, they would go for CC, but I don't think so. What would be 33 signature? Wizong? I mean, that kind of makes sense because... But would 33 actually picked it? Ah, Fedrin. So Wizong is open for 33, which, if that were being the case, is IMU from Valentina can gain some value on this. But, yeah, man, it's kind of tough. I'm trying to read Payan's lips. They were just doubling down on the roamers, I think. The Fedrin at even. Yeah, so Hilda. Is this the same exact patterns from the other two side as well? Okay, so let me get this straight. You got Ace picked for ACT right now. What would be the roamer options here? They wouldn't go for glue though. I don't think I've seen Gan play glue in such a fashion. Cairo is I'm talking about Cairo, but Marcel at a second ban phase. Sorry, at the second pick phase. What I'm convinced is that there's no way, but like, could it be that I'm not sure what did they try to gain by a Marcel pick for Sylvie. I'm not sure if it's even that effective for ACT earlier. Gotta check and run through it whether there's any game beforehand that they play Marcel, but so far, to my knowledge, no. Oh, wait, it's already being announced? M Challenge Cup Mekong? Damn. Okay, let me save pictures real quick. Gotta do a content about this. It's already in? So it's right next week. Bro. And it took place only 2 days. My guy. And then, yeah, it turns out to be King of Gamers to go for glue instead, but then Hayabusa by case, and yeah. I think this is the part where this is an oversight by ACT. I think it's not necessarily Jusin. Even for this game, like Payan's on Claude would be deadly as well, but Hayabusa on Kaizen, definitely. I don't think the matchup by ACT actually allows them to go up against Hayabusa that much either. And for this one, Cairo is going to go with Wizong instead. I'm not even sure if he's actually played it that often. So, yep, I think this is the same thing that repeated itself over and over. When you look at it's exactly the same, right? Are they going to go mirror on this? But this time, Kalia got picked. Yeah. So it's kind of hitting up in the same manners, right? This time ACT swapped to be the first pick, so they got Harith. That doesn't make a sense at all. Yeah, so this is the part where they talk about him letting off, right? So just trying to prioritize on securing that Harith pick would mean that okay, you're gonna get picks for Juicin. But this is we're talking about like trying to find faults in the first 3 ban picks by Coach Shadow. They probably don't want to go up against Guinevere already as a setup options for King of Gamers, and then Akai with the heavy spin as I mentioned earlier. So that's actually making sense. And then yep, and even in later games, I believe they also go for. Okay, so they let King of Gamers be the first pick again. Once again, Juicin is being led to picked. This time, Guinevere was also being let off in Hilda's case, but did not play them in game number 2. No, now I was playing Khalid. Why? So after the games number 3, so after the game number 2, why does he try to switch the priorities from Guinevere to Hilda? That doesn't make any sense to me. And of course, Guinevere is going to be picked straight up for Kazin. His coordination is going to be very good. Already settled with Juicin definitely, and even letting Harith falling into his place because they're trying to prioritize a duo for Sir Ross and then Sylvie. I just realized that. So yeah, Sylvie's gonna get Khalid straight away with Sir Ross. Is this the same with all the games here? No, right? Because ACT like at first they picked the. Yeah, I mean, when you try to look into hindsight, ACT, like Coach Shadow, did really try different options, different ways to change the outlook of the games, right? But yeah, prioritize Harith, doesn't work on them, and then try to match up between to make the most out of the twins, Sylvie and Sir Ross capabilities. Prioritize a duo pick for them first. Doesn't go that way either. Yeah, man. And then this is game number 3 already. Sorry, game number 4 already. Let me just check out game number 4. So in this game, Piper was subbed right in. I don't think at that point it's about. I see people talk about like just a sub to change the mix of the emotions here, trying to fending in for Cairo. But like if you ask me, it's the fact that Piper is a more experienced player. Piper is a team seniors alongside Flugyo. Both of these players has played with ACT for years already, right? So it kind of makes sense why they chose to go with this one. Okay, so Sora got banned by King of Gamers. That's going to be priority picks straight away. But then Harith finally got banned in this game. So finally, Coach Shadow chose to go with Harith. I mean, this is a measure for when KOG is first pick, I guess. But then, of course, they're letting Juicin away once more. It's going to be the priorities for Zed straight away. And then in this game, they're still doubling down on securing the first 2 picks for Sir Ross and Sylvie. Yeah. So at this point, they're probably very, I would say, just strict. You know, they're probably very stressed. Sorry, not strict, but definitely. I believe that in game number 4 is where like they have a bit of a comeback. Sorry, not necessarily a comeback in that manners, but like for them to actually like kind of gain some footing for ACT. But yeah, definitely, probably that point it was way too late. So I mean, that was it. King of Gamers is your MSL Thailand Season 1 champions here. Probably have to like switch down my cameras just to make sure that I can see everything. Oh. Whoop. This usually didn't happen beforehand, so I was kind of shocked. Whoop. Sorry, guys. But yeah, definitely. Trying to tilt the camera downwards. Yeah, making it a bit more, hopefully, a bit more susceptible to my height. Especially whenever I try to slouch down, because right now I cannot really find a mid ground between us, like dealing right this and then also trying to compare that to making it second places. Yep. King of Gamers, your MSL Thailand Season 1 champions. They did so well, right? Also all support to them as well. And then the final MVP actually goes to Kazin. So once again, this is what they have to look out for. Oh, trying to point out to the camera. Definitely. Moments of joy for the entire teams here.
เดี๋ยวเราจะประกาศรางวัลต่อไปนะคะต่อไปจะเป็น Final MVP เตรียมดูจอพร้อมกันได้เลยนะคะ
Here we go. Okay. So people probably gonna ask, what is next for MSL Thailand, right? What's next after MSL Thailand Season 1, right? How are we supposed to stay around until Season 2 in August or wherever? No. The right next tournament, or even a tournament that's currently going on right now. Oh, so Kazin, so this is the places where he pointed at the sky for, man. It's kind of bittersweet. Definitely a bittersweet moment. Kazin has got an MVP. Doing all this, why all the teammates support him. This is beautiful, man. Seriously. All right, but there we go. So back to my points. Right now, there's currently a rich man lady tournaments going on right now as we speak. I'm probably thinking that they're actually going live right now. So hey, maybe if you guys can check them out, check out the ladies as well, because I think that right now MLBB is trying to gain more like sort of like competitive advantages here. We're seeing a lot more new players throwing into the pools here. So definitely, like, I think it's going to be a lot of steps up for a lot of women players as well for MLBB. And then it's already been announced only recently, but MCCM Season 7 or M Challenge Cup Mekong Season 7 will be held in June 5th to June 7th. So King of Gamers already progressed on to EWC, right? They make it to MSC 2026. They're going to go straight up to Paris. That's already being confirmed by them. But for the runner-ups, for ACT Sports Club, and then surprisingly, also BaconTime from the extra slots that were granted to them, they're going to get the chance to compete for another slot into MSC, which is M Challenge Cup Mekong Season 7 here. So they're going to go up against the region's top, the region's best. We're talking about from all over the regions here in Mekong, so it's gonna be a tough fight for them, and I think a real test for the entire rosters as well. You know, to see how would they actually play out, especially in the international trophies here. So definitely trying to stay tuned to M Challenge Cup Mekong Season 7, which will be coming right up here as well, and then also straight up. Heading into the next month after that, it's going to be definitely, we're talking the MSC themselves. So this is the main stage here, especially for the mid-season anyway. We're going to see a lot of teams being stepped up there. King of Gamers already waited at Paris, France. Maybe, who knows, if ACT or BaconTime actually manage to make it from another slots here, I think it can also be very valuable for them as well to also get to compete in international stages like that. And then, yeah. Right on that, I believe that right on August, we're going to have, that is where MSL Thailand Season 2 is going to kick off. So, see, we're going back to back, right? But each month, we're having a major MLBB tournaments here for the Thai fans to look after towards. And also for any of you foreign viewers, audience who maybe wanted to, I don't know, maybe you wanted to look out for the Thai teams. Maybe you want to try to find them. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a chances for you to keep in touch with Thailand's top teams and also our growth here in the regions here as well for Thailand and MLBB. So definitely stay tuned and check that out. And yeah, this is definitely
จะ emotional ค่ะเข้าใจเลยเนาะ
Jason,
ถือว่าเป็นความสำเร็จ
poor guy.
ทั้งของทีมแล้วก็
Definitely they deserve all the success for Kazan. All props to them.
ญาติค่ะขอบคุณ
The final MVP as well.
Official Telecommunication Partner 25G ค่ะ
Yeah, there we go. So that will be it for this live streams. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in here. I'll probably trying to crunch as much of a content as possible, right? Trying to ramp up and trying to keep things afloat here in MSL. Not in MSL, but in Thailand MLBB communities here. So definitely thank you so much here, everyone, for tuning out here. I'm gonna keep
ขอขอบคุณ
the champions here. They deserve all this success here. Everyone sort of have their own stories here, right? We look at 33. Definitely, like 33 is also he's being snubbed of MCCM season 5 back in the days as well. So he lost to I think he represent like a Chiang Mai esport federation or university. I'm not sure what was the actual organization over there, but yeah, definitely basically he was actually have to teamed up along against back then I think the former king of gamers, which is the original rosters who are currently now with Buriram. So MCIC Murphy back then, and then also Naragon, right? Yeah, that definitely didn't go to plan for them. And then we also have to talk about the other parts as well, which is going to be now. So now, back then we're known as Sanwi. He has been playing with so many teams, right? And then also kind of fall short, especially in M Challenge Cup Mekong. I still remember when I casted his team. I'm pretty sure he wasn't with Crit Evo, but yeah, it was at that exact same time as well, where he was also were alongside with everyone here.
Baby ค่ะ
Yeah.
ต้องขอลาไปก่อน
So I baby and Maprang. Sorry, I baby.
เนี่ยเราอาจจะได้เจอกันอีกอย่าลืมติดตามนะคะ
Who knows? Maybe
ใช่ค่ะเพราะฉะนั้น
definitely we're gonna see them showed up here in MSL Thailand season 2. There we go. That'll be it for this live stream. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in once again. I'll probably sign off this time for real. So thank you. Bye bye.